Does systemic racism even exist in Canada? Checks notes. Yes. The news these past few weeks has been full of horrible and shocking stories of acts of violence and injustice towards people of color. Except it's not really shocking, is it? If we were paying attention, we would know that this sort of thing is happening all the time. Which is why you've been hearing systemic racism more. People are fed up. They've had enough. And not just black people, but other people of color, white people, and even the almost translucent like me. So what is systemic racism? Well, it's like regular racism, but it's baked in. Like when your grandma would offer you a slice of what appeared to be delicious banana bread, but was in fact a zucchini loaf, except without any health benefits. Plus, I don't care if zucchini's healthy, Grandma. I've been tricked into eating vegetable bread. I was expecting a treat. Sorry, where was I? Right, inescapable racism. If someone shouts the N-word at you, that's plain old racism and super easy to spot. If you go into a bank with your 12-year-old granddaughter to open up a bank account, but both end up handcuffed in the back of a police car because the bank teller had concerns about your ID and the bank supports that course of action, we might have a systemic racism problem. And that actually happened to an Indigenous man and his granddaughter this past January in Vancouver. The bank employee felt one or two numbers were off on the 12-year-old girl's status card and immediately suspected fraud and called 911. And here's the thing. I've walked into a bank wearing cargo shorts and a t-shirt with the Atari logo on it, with a bank draft for thousands of dollars and nothing but my driver's license. And had zero problems opening a bank account. And received a free but uselessly thin tote bag. Was the bank employee in Vancouver someone who'd yell the N-word at a black person or post something disparaging about Indigenous people on Facebook? Probably not. Maybe, but probably not. But if the grandpa and granddaughter were white, and wearing some super cool cargo shorts and a t-shirt that didn't stop being cool in 2010 despite what my wife says, they likely wouldn't have ended up in handcuffs, even if they tried to use an old Blockbuster card as ID. A story of a grandfather and his granddaughter looking to open her first bank account should never end with handcuffs in the back of a cruiser. It should end with a forced subscription to hockey news that you don't really want anyway, but everyone else is getting one and weirdly bragging about it, and a crappy tote bag. So the point isn't that one bank employee is racist. The point is that when they acted the way they acted and the bank supported those actions, that is an example of systemic racism. Systemic racism is much more devious than overt in-your-face racism. It lingers in the decision-making of our institutions, organizations, businesses, and media. Sure, perhaps less and less of it each day, and that's encouraging, but there's still lots of it. What's worse, it allows white people like me to benefit from it. Yes, like the deceptively delicious zucchini loaf, white privilege is something you might not have asked for, but if you put so much butter on it that you can't really see the zucchini anymore, it tastes pretty good. I know that I've benefited at various times in my life purely because I'm white. To be honest, probably daily. If you're white, I can pretty much guarantee that you have too. And that's not to diminish any sort of struggle or remotely suggest that you had it easy somehow. But imagine having the same struggles you've had in life and being black or Indigenous or just not white. If you're white, being aware of systemic racism doesn't mean you're a racist. It means you know that some of your actions and the benefits you've experienced in life might be rooted in racism. When you've been given the benefit of the doubt. When you've been let off with a warning. Systemic racism is there, hiding, like the dark bits in that buttered lie that you thought were banana but turned out to be racist zucchini. The goal of pointing out systemic racism, at least I think, isn't to point fingers and accuse people of being racist, though some people certainly need to be called out. The goal is to make everyone aware that there are lingering racist attitudes ingrained in our way of life that may be sculpting our day-to-day interactions to the detriment of our family, friends, and communities. And then change those attitudes and root them out. Just this past week, TikTok star and NDP leader Jagmeet Singh was kicked out of the House of Commons for calling a Bloc Québécois MP a racist for refusing to support an NDP motion dealing with systemic racism in the RCMP. The Speaker asked that Singh apologize, but he refused, so the Speaker gave him the boot. Which makes sense, because you can't just call other MPs racist in the House of Commons. Or can you? Writer Robert Jago on Twitter did some digging through the House of Commons records and found 7 other instances of an MP calling another MP racist, dating from 1974 to 1997. So a total of at least 8 MPs have called other MPs racist on record. How many were expelled from the House of Commons? 1. How many weren't white? 1. Weird. Does that mean that the House of Commons is absolutely racist? I don't think so. Does that mean some of their decisions are guided by baked-in racism? Yeah, I think so. Now, I'm no fan of Jagmeet Singh, and I'm referring specifically to his TikTok account when I say that. And no, not just because I'm jealous because he has twice as many followers as I do, or the fact that he could probably do the renegade dance. I don't know. But I would think Jagmeet, based on a lifetime of experience, probably knows how to spot racism better than most white MPs. Does that make Canada a racist country? To answer unequivocally no to that question requires some serious historical gymnastics. Does Canada want to be a racist country? I think for most of us, the answer to that is no. Are Canadians racist? Some are, absolutely. But most aren't, or at the very least are trying very hard not to be. Should the color of your skin affect how you're treated in Canada, especially in the year 2020? No. Does it? Yeah, it kind of does. And we should fix that.